All right, everybody, welcome back to the Xavier Klein Coaching Series here on Madden 25. We are now in the 2027 offseason, heading to this free agent market here, and we have a lot of things we're going to have to work through in this 2027 offseason. I think so far our team has been built out decently. We set up a foundation to kind of grow some of these guys in a way that works out. I think the O-line is in a decent spot, but there are clear needs, right? There are a couple different positions here that I know I would like to focus on to bring in some really good players, hopefully in the offseason and also in the draft. I think we've solidified the left side. I think McGarry's played well on the right side. Just got to get the right guard in order. As far as tight ends are concerned, I think the rookie that we drafted last year played pretty well, we didn't draft, but the third year now, second year, Ray last season in his second year, I thought he played pretty well. He's got decent speed, but we need to work through that. As Michael Mayer has kind of been thrusted down to the bottom ranks, but knowing where we're at right now and trying to figure out what's going to happen here, I could see ourselves kind of keeping Michael Mayer around. We still got 2 years left on the contract. If we were to cut him, we would lose about $14 million in dead cap, which isn't that bad in the grand scheme of things. And we do have a very healthy cap space to kind of make some moves. The wide receiver group honestly played pretty well, and with Poe back into the lineup there, partnered up now with Armand Gaddis, who had a pretty good year last year. He's up for a contract in the following season. I think this is a good duo that could really do some work for the Tennessee Titans. Now, you know, there's some other players here like Bergantz, who was on the practice squad. We're going to have him work through it. Wembley had a very good year as our return specialist and played pretty decent in the slot. We still have Luke McCaffrey on the roster too. So the wide receiver group has some really great possibilities. The running back core, in my opinion, with Spears there, we have to figure out the combination of Spears and potentially Braylon Allen, who I thought played well. And with the amount of space that you still have with someone like Tajay Spears, you don't necessarily have to spend money on Braylon Allen if you don't want. Now, the reason why I say if you don't want is because I love the lightning and thunder combination we have there. We do have a running back behind him in Will Mathis, but Will Mathis to me is more of a scat back, somebody who's going to get involved with just some of the plays when Spears is tired. So can we roll with just Spears and Mathis and bring in somebody else? I'm not quite sure. So the Braylon Allen decision has to be made. You do have Brandon Hawley as the new quarterback now, and with Kenny Pickett here, you have to decide, are you willing to get rid of Kenny Pickett? If we were to trade him to another team, that's a probable scenario there for us. That would give us about 5.4 in cap space room this year with a penalty of $32 million, which we could split between 2 seasons. With the cap space that we have that's in the triple digits and millions, we should be fine. Having $100 million in cap space allows us to let go of players like Michael Mayer and Kenny Pickett without worrying about any potential downfall. We do need some work in the free safety and strong safety role, as Sidney Brown and Pinnock were really here just for kind of being a placeholder. And they play okay, but I don't really want to lean on these guys as the potential starters next season. I just don't think they're that strong. And Pinnock plays well, but the hope is that, we look at somebody like Percy Butler to take the reins. Jason Pinnock isn't a bad player. He just wasn't, his coverage was just not that great. So when I look at somebody like that, I have to think about, is it appropriate for us to kind of build out that free safety group once again and allow someone like Butler to kind of take the helm? There are some potential free safety prospects in the free agent market that I am looking at, but do we lean on Butler for the long haul there? The corner situation needs a whole lot of work. Roger McCreary is our slot corner, but Mitch Crowder needs a partner. And as much as I may like L'Jarius Sneed, I don't know if we're going to be able to keep this man for too long. He might be looking at a bigger contract, and at 31 years old, I just don't know if it's appropriate to do that. it wouldn't be bad if maybe we leaned on him for like maybe 22 million a year, if it permitted. I think that could work out for us because Snead can still play well. I just don't want to have a 4-year contract with the guy. I think the D-line's in a good, healthy spot. You do have Murphy, you got Booth, you got Gordon, and you got Tavondre Sweat, who's currently a free agent. We're going to think about extending him. I don't see myself bringing back Justin Simmons unless he's trying to come back for a healthy, cheaper contract. He's a very good player, but in my opinion, I would rather roll with Tavondre Sweat and try to spend more money on someone like Jeffrey Simmons this season. So I want to get younger with this group, and I think with Murphy there, Booth, Gordon, Sweat, I think this line is going to be just fine. We just have to continue to keep forward there. So we got some work to do here. The Tennessee Titans aren't a bad squad, man. They truly are not. I just feel like we're going to have to work through it. So we're going to start first with the free agent market. One of the things they're looking at is the 5th-year option. Do you accept that for Mitch Crowder? 100% you do. Take care of that. You make sure you got this guy locked in for next year. Give your chance to kind of extend that. Roger McCreary at 28 years old doesn't really want to play for us. It looks like they're saying we don't really have a franchise contract quarterback, but at 28 years old, in my opinion, if you can lock this guy in for like maybe about $9 million for 3 years, that's a $27 million contract. I think that's a fair deal. And I'm glad he has signed it. So that's a good contract for us. We have $118 million left. And look at this. L'Jarius Sneed is not asking for a lot of money. I'm a little surprised by that, but I'll take it. I'm willing to give him probably closer to $8 million guaranteed. So this is the $13.5 million, way less than I expected. And I'm good with that if he's willing to stick with us. Let's see if we get L'Jarius Sneed back. We do. So we got the signings done. Those were key ones there. You got Peter Skoronski here at 27 years old. This is the bigger contract. When you have a legit guard like Peter Skoronski, you'll want to make sure you lock the guy in. And, I think here, $17.5 million for a 5-year deal. It's about $87.5 million, but you're talking about a guard that's going to be around for the long haul. So we got about $89 million left there. Now, we are looking at somebody like Tavondre Sweat. He's 27 years old. Can you bring this guy in? I'm going to try. 27 years old. I'm going to try to bring him in for about $52 million, $52.5 million. See if he does it. And he is going to test the free agent market. So the defensive tackle group is in trouble. Now, knowing we're having that issue there, I still want to lock in some guys here. We have Micah McFadden, who plays pretty well, but in my opinion, someone like Cedric Gray should be on this team for a huge extension. And I think with Cedric Gray, you sign him for a 5-year deal, get $10.5 million for 5 years. Oh, he's going to test the free agent market. So if we were to tag him, that would be $16 million. Would you do that for Cedric Gray? I think Micah McFadden here is just fine. So as much as I'd love to bring these guys back, we can't bring them back. Now, Braylon Allen, he's looking at a 4-year deal, right? That's not bad at all. For a running back like him and Spears being paired up for the long haul, I'm hoping like a $6.5 million for the next 4 years works out. And it does. So Braylon Allen will be back. So at least we got the running back crew in order. Jamal Adams, no thank you. We had to just suffer through that. Percy Butler, he's not asking for a whole lot of money. And I think this is a fair deal. At 28 years old, I'm willing to just give him what he's asking for. So we get a free safety, potential starter, or backup to kind of roll with that. Bergantz is going to ask for a little bit more. And I think that has a lot to do with just the fact that he was on the practice squad. He showed some possibilities there playing on the outside and in the slot when we had some injury concerns. So do we roll with him? Do we try to make it work here with Bergantz? I think, in my opinion, knowing where we're at here, I'd prefer... a 2-year deal isn't bad for someone like him. I just don't see myself trying to do more than $3 million a year. is willing to do. Well, that's actually $4 million a year. I think you try to stick with what it is. You let him go out there. Maybe we can grab him in the free agent market. Lloyd Cushenberry, he's a center that I really think could really work out for us. It looks like there's some issues there. You'd like to see more championships, but I think you sign him to a 3-year deal. He's going to regress a little bit. But $7.5 million is a fair deal, and you lock in that left side of the line pretty well there. Layden Robinson is a right guard. He's honestly not asking for too much. I'd say if we can give him like 2-year deal, maybe give him a little bit more, because I do like having good backups, and works out. So as you can see, the amount of money that it's taken to keep all the players that we want has drastically dropped, but everybody else that's out here, we are going to let go. Jake Hayner was on the practice squad. Jarvis Brownlee was a guy we just brought in due to injuries. Shamir Hankins was a wide receiver that just was brought on because of that. Chris Hatchett, right tackle, we're going to let go. Calvin Ridley, we're going to let go. And Joey Bosa, we wish him the best of luck. So the only one I'm really, the only 2 players I'm upset we can't get back is Tavondre Sweat and Cedric Gray, and I'm hoping we can grab them in this upcoming off season here. So there are some players I'm looking at. I wrote down a list. A way of doing that is when you go to team salary, you can just sort it out to 0 years left, and those are the potential free agents that are out there. So we have 53 players on the roster. We have about $67.9 million. And folks, this is where we want to try to start putting some players on the block and see what kind of bites we get. So the players we're going to start looking at moving on from, I guess you can't put them on the block. Okay, so I guess I didn't put on the trade. So I think I've turned that on now. So I should be able to put players on the block. Now, there you go. So we're going to go ahead and put Michael Mayer on the block. He's got like another year left here. And I'd like to put Kenny Pickett on the block. Now, the goal of this, again, is to see what's out there. I think those are 2 players that I think could still do some work in the NFL, and they're just not the right fit for us. Before we look at the prospects, which I try not to look at until we get towards that point, I would like to see what the free agents are at this point. There are some players that I am looking at, and one of the players that I am definitely looking at is Mr. Rome Odunze. There are 12 offers for him, and this is the one guy I would love to bring here to the team. But let's go start first at the quarterbacks. Michael Penix Jr. is leaving the Falcons. That's the big one right there. You got Sam Howell out there. You got Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield. These are some really interesting cats here that I could consider bringing in the free agent market. But I'm going to wait a little bit as far as this first free agent stage. Halfbacks, Christian McCaffrey, Bucky Irving are here, but the one guy that wants to play for us is like Blake Corum and Joe Mixon, Audric Estime. So these are decent guys, but we have our running back group in order now with the extension of Braylon Allen now. Rome Odunze, Lad McConkey, Brian Thomas Jr. These are the players that I have on my list as far as guys. Keon Coleman's another guy I'm looking at to be a Tennessee Titan. So there's some pretty good players here. I was looking at Malik Washington as well. Darnell Mooney's not bad even at 30. Jalen McMillan's another guy I have on my list. He is 100% interested. So that's a very good one here to really pay attention to, because we could pay a ridiculous amount of money to bring in the other guys, or we can just bring in someone like McMillan. Now, McMillan has an injury issue, it looks like, but again, we want to make a splash where we can. Now, we do have Mr. Mayer on the block, but it's not to say I want to stop it. I just don't think he's the right fit, and I think Jared Wiley was on the Chiefs. I think this guy can really do some work as a tight end 2/tight end 1 with Okonkwo. So Jared Wiley is one of the tight ends that is on my list here. It's actually the only tight end on my list at this time. We're not looking at any left tackles. We're not necessarily looking at any left guards. I'm looking at right guard, and the right guard market is screaming. And there are the top 3 players that I have on my list. You got Wyatt Teller. He's 33 years old, but the guy still knows what he needs to do. And having a good veteran like Wyatt Teller is key. You could, though, just go ahead and throw in some money, grant a signing of Elijah Vera Tucker, who's a very legit right guard. You know, the guy's going to do what he needs to do. Sign him for like a 4-year deal, and you'll definitely improve that space. Dominic Pooney, though, is a little bit lower than Elijah Vera Tucker, but having some youth in there, again, not an issue. You can grow this O-line together and really kind of hold it down. As far as the right tackles are concerned, with McGarry there, I was thinking about making a move on somebody like Roger Rosengarten. Roger Rosengarten, to me, is a very good tackle. No one's really interested in him. No one really is looking at him initially, but this guy is a very good player. You're talking about a guy that I believe was like undrafted. He was drafted in the 2nd round in 2024, but no one really thought much of him, but he plays so solid for the Ravens. That can be the move right there. So I'm looking at trying to set this team up for the future and kind of go from there. I couldn't really see too much defensive ends that are out there, so we're going to have to probably play this by ear, try to see if there's any decent players that would like to play for us. Sam Hubbard would be okay, but these are like a lot of low OVR guys because they do understand like we don't really need much more than depth when it comes to this space there. So we'll play this one close to the chest, but now I want to see, can we bring in some really good defensive tackles, right? We lost our guy, but you bring in someone like Christian Wilkins, you can hold it down for just like maybe another year or 2 with him. You could go a little bit younger and go after someone like Shelton Jeffers, but that's again depth. Vita Vea could be pretty clean too. So you look at grabbing guys like Vita Vea and Christian Wilkins, and you just let those 2 dudes kind of kill it as defensive tackles for you. You get the veterans going, and then you hope everybody else kind of falls in place there. Unfortunately, right, the guy that I really want on this team doesn't want to play for us, and that's what really hurts right there. You know, Tavondre Sweat, he does not want to play for our guy, and it has a lot to do with just our winning percentage for our career head coach, which is really weird. We would like to play in Texas, so much as I would like to bring him in, I feel like I'm going to be fighting, and I have way more needs right now than is capable of kind of keeping him happy. So, you know, maybe we go back to him if he doesn't like the contract that's been given to him in these early stages. But, you know, really isn't a whole lot of crazy stuff out there. Hassan Reddick would be kind of neat to bring in. This is a guy that was extended when I had him with New Orleans Saints. 31 years old. I thought the guy played pretty well there. But do we need him now with Gordon and with Booth healthy? I don't know. This is where the D-line, the interior is where I really want to kill it. I don't want to spend a whole lot of money on additional depth pieces. Linebacker, Chop Robinson is on my list there as a player that I'd love to bring here, because with Chop Robinson, you continue to have great opportunity when it comes to just edge pressure. With Chop Robinson there, you have Dugan, playing pretty well for us. On one end, Yaya Diaby, and then Matt Lewis, the guy that we drafted last year. You bring in Chop, there's potential there where you can keep him there. Maybe move Matt Lewis down to the defensive end spot and just have him in the rotation there, and just let Chop, Yaya Diaby, and Dugan kind of do their work. So I wouldn't be upset with that move. Middle linebacker position, I didn't look too much, but the positive here, is that there's a chance we could probably go after Cedric Gray. That's the thing that I would love to see here. Although we couldn't initially sign him, I think if you bring him in, that's the youth right there that's going to be key. We're talking about him and Micah McFadden paired up too. That's not a bad move. Right outside linebackers, there really wasn't anybody there. Chop was the only one that I looked at in the linebacker spot. Corners, though, I was looking at quite a bit, and the one that I really want to go after, who, as you can see, doesn't necessarily want to play for us, but I'm willing to spend, is Enis Rakestraw. Now, I thought about spending this if I wasn't going to get L'Jarius Sneed back. So I looked at certain corners like him. I looked at Camry Lassiter was another guy I felt like could be a pretty solid player for us. I also looked at a lower OVR guy in TJ Tampa as another potential player that could work through for us, as well as it looks like he got extended, but I was on, maybe he did. Yeah, I was looking at Marcus Jones of the Patriots, but it looks like he got extended there. So we have some corners that I really want. Enis Rakestraw would be a huge blockbuster move for us, in my opinion, there. But with that, right, what do? You got Roger McCrary, who to me is a legit slot corner for us, and he plays very well in that space. You don't pay L'Jarius Sneed to play backup, and you might have to just kind of, work with depth in this space here. Maybe allow some of your assets to move somewhere else. Now, the area or the team that the player that I'm interested in the free safety role, right? We extended Percy Butler, but I really like Kalen Bullock. He was just on the Texans, and he just happened to be behind one of the better freaking Texans in Jalen Petre. So him going to the Rams looked like just a one-year deal. And I think with how he can play, we have an opportunity to really have a good youthful group. So Kalen Bullock is a guy I am interested in. I didn't really see too many strong safeties that were on my board, but there is one guy that I was looking at, and he's a little younger, and that is Antonio Johnson. Antonio Johnson is 26 years old out of Texas A&M, 6 years in the NFL. He's got 88 speed, 75 zone coverage, 83 man coverage, 92, and he's got a hit power of 85. I think this is a guy here that could really grow with our safety group, because that's my goal here. I want to bring in guys that could actually kill it. And it looks like he was with New England, didn't really get used much. So Antonio Johnson would definitely be an immediate starter for us. Or maybe I move Kalen Bullock over to strong safety and then kind of roll with it that way too. So we got opportunities here for Antonio Johnson to play quite a bit. So we got some good guys here. Those are the initial players that I'm looking at. Nothing too crazy in that space. But what we're going to do on our end is we're going to work through this, and then I will show you the results of our free agent signings. So before we continue the free agency signings here, I wanted to let you know of some trades we made, right? The two players that we had on the block were Michael Mayer and Kenny Pickett. For Michael Mayer, we actually sent him to the Arizona Cardinals. Behind Trey McBride, there is nobody else. So having a good tight end duo there for them, I think can help them out. All we did on our end is we received a pick swap. So we swapped our 5th round for their 5th round to move up about 17 spots in the 5th round. And then we took a future 5th from there. Regarding the Falcons, there is no Michael Penix there. There is no Kirk Cousins. So we traded them with the Falcons. We traded the Falcons Kenny Pickett. And with Kenny Pickett, we ended up getting a 3rd round swap. So we moved way up from pick 90, all the way up to pick 68. So very early in that round. And then we took a 7th round pick. I think that's more than fair. They don't have any quarterback on their roster. We take a 3rd round swap, and I think that really works out in the long run. When you check out our cap space, that actually puts us in a spot that is not that bad. You're talking about 52 million now in cap space. We have some dead kit Cap penalties, of course, but in my opinion, it works out for the long there. So we wish those players the best of luck, but glad we have some more draft capital here as we move forward into series. All right, everybody. So now that we are in the recap here, let me show you the players that we got when we snagged up a ton. We went big. We have about 2.71 million left in cap space to include our draft picks. But look at this. We snagged up our big freaking wide receiver in Brian Thomas Jr. He is a younger Calvin Ridley, a faster Calvin Ridley. And I think with someone like him on the outside alongside Poe and Gaddis, this young crew is going to grow with our wide receiver, with our quarterback in Brandon Hawley. We snagged up a veteran here in Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark to me is a good veteran coming over from the Packers. We couldn't find a DT that fit us that was younger, like that could really supply us some youth there, and it's fine because we got some backups there that I think can do some things, and maybe we look at some DTs in the draft, and we'll talk to the draft board in a second. But I wanted to show that I'm okay with bringing in some vets to work through it and really keep this interior line intact with Kenny Clark and Jonathan Allen. The right guard position, it was a fight for Elijah Vera Tucker, but he ended up going to another team. So we snagged up Dominic Pooney, who to me was a very, very good player. Dominic Pooney coming over from the Niners has great awareness and just a great look across the board. And I look at it as he's younger and he has an opportunity to just be a dog for us at that right side. So right tackle is probably a look in the draft. I snagged up the Texans' former free safety, who I guess played for the Rams for a year, and Kalen Bullock. I think him playing up top is going to be an awesome situation for us. You're talking about a guy here who, to me, is probably going to be one of the captains on the team, coming from USC. Guy's got good zone coverage, great speed, and I think he's going to keep that free safety group intact. I snagged up another wide receiver, Jalen McMillan. I think this guy can play really solid in the slot, and the hope is that if something were to happen to one of our guys, Jalen McMillan could step up anywhere. So I'm hoping for that to work out. We snagged up Antonio Johnson for a $5 million per year deal, or actually $2.5 million a year, which was a freaking steal for us at strong safety. Again, it's about keeping this young group of safeties now in order. With Sidney Brown and Pinnock, they're there to just kind of, they were kind of like the tape to kind of hold it down until we can bring in some reinforcements. And I think Antonio Johnson and Bullock are going to do that. We snagged up a former early round pick in Braylon Trice. We ended up getting this guy for a steal, folks. $7.5 million for the next 3 years. He's going to be a backup for us just in case, but having that type of pedigree there is key for our linebacking group. And we'll talk through why that's the case in a moment. And then I snagged up Henry To'oto'a, another Texan defensive player who to be a good guy that could step up if something were to happen to Yaya Diaby or to Dugan. We got a guy here that I think can do work. Needed some depth. Nehemiah Pritchett's got the speed to play on the outside, and he can play very small, good on the inside in the slot. So I'm happy for that. Grabbed a mentor here at left guard with the extension of Skoronski. I think having someone like Evan Brown for a year can help grow him. I couldn't snag up the other tight end that I wanted from the Chiefs, but I ended up snagging up another one. Josh Wiley, 6'7", 248. I think he's going to be a good tight end 2/3. And then Jalen Jones, another slot corner that I really want to do, kind of iron this out. So this is a very good team, a good group of free agents who to me allow us to work within the draft and either move up or down or trade them away to move into the future draft. But the Titans, I think, have a very good group of guys here that are going to work out. Now, as far as across the league here, this is what I wanted to see. Michael Penix Jr. is now the new quarterback for the freaking Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He took a 4-year, $126.2 million deal to be their starting quarterback. Dak Prescott is going to the Rams. He's just taken a 1-year deal for about $24 million. Halfbacks, McCaffrey's going to the Browns for a 12-year deal. Bucky Irving going to the Pats. And then Blake Corum is a Niner. Wide receivers, Rome Odunze. He was out of our reach. He didn't want to play for us. He's going to Washington to play with Jaden Daniels, and he took a 4-year deal for $83 million. Ladd McConkey going to the Buccaneers. I think that's a great move for them. You got a very good player in McConkey going to the Bucs now. And with Penix there, that's going to be a nice duo. Hollywood Brown heading to the Raiders. Ricky Pearsall's going to the Panthers. Tutu Atwell to the Commanders. Keon Coleman, he was a guy I wanted, but he just, speed and stuff just didn't match up with what we need. So he's going to Green Bay. Jalen Polk, I see that. He's going to the Pats. Top tight end, Gesicki going back to the Bengals. Wiley is going to the Dolphins. Bellinger to the Jets. Tucker Kraft to the Chiefs. Stanley's going to the Commanders. I think that's a good move there. Damian Lewis to the Jets. Kelly, that's a great move there. He's going to the freaking Packers along with Bartolini. Wyatt Teller going to the Giants. And then there it is right here. Elijah Vera Tucker. He took a 3-year deal for $42.6 million. And I think that's a good steal there. I was trying to sign him for a 5-year deal. He just wanted to go somewhere else, unfortunately. But I think we got a good deal with Pooney because Pooney's a year younger. Right tackle Rosengarten's going to the Cowboys. I think that's a steal. Lucas to the Cards. Austin Jackson is going to the Rams. Dorless was a guy I was interested in for a second, but he's heading to the Broncos. Simmons, we wish him the best of luck. He's going to the Panthers there. Wilkins was another guy I was looking at. He's going to the Buccaneers. Brzee, he's going to the Falcons. Vita Vea to the Pats. Hassan Reddick to the Chiefs. Granderson to the Bills. Donna to the Falcons. Chop is going to the Raiders. Jerome Baker there, but this one's sad. Cedric Gray, he took a pretty decent deal. I forgot to grab him in the first stage. I ended up going after somebody else, and that was a huge mistake because Cedric Gray is heading to the Jets, and he took like a very cheap deal in my opinion. $29.3 million for 3 years. That's a steal for a player like Cedric Gray. Logan Wilson and Josh Sweat have new teams. Logan to the Cardinals, Sweat to the Jags. Chardavius Ward going to the Packers. Humphrey to the Rams. Taron Johnson to the Bears. Anis Rakestraw is a Commander. Tre'Davious White is a Cardinal. Wow, Anis Rakestraw is a no-joke player. Bynum to the Giants. Reed Blankenship to the Bills. Peppers is a Bronco. Reed is a Panther. Tiki Smith is a Patriot. Hey, it looks like some kickers moved around a little bit too, so that's pretty good. So I think our guys are looking pretty solid there. And there were some position changes we made as well, and this is what we're going to look at before we head into the draft. So as far as this group here, no changes in this area there. So the tight end group got a little younger, and I think are going to be big enough targets here. But the defensive side is where we made some changes. So Dugan and Yaya Diaby are going to be headed up with Trice and To'o backing him up. But look at this, folks. This is the one here that I was excited about. Matt Lewis, I'm going to start him on the outside there. And the hope is that we'll see him kind of doing some work there on the opposite side of Miles Murphy. So we're going to see Matt Lewis out there now on the field at the same time because he was backing up Yaya Diaby. So I wanted to find a way to get him out there. So he's going to play on the line. Kalen Bullock is going to be starting there, but Percy Butler has earned the right to get a chance as the backup there. So I'm hoping for the best in that space. But the linebacker group, that was the twist there, man. Trice and To'o are going to back up Diaby and Dugan, and hopefully that'll make it work there. The corner group's no issue in that space. So I'm pretty pumped about this. I think we got a very good team heading into this draft, and this allows us the flexibility, right, to really hone in on our opportunity here. You don't have to grab a super need early. We can truly focus on best player available and grow this team in a way that I think that the Titans are going to be very nasty group for years to come. So as far as my board is concerned, I have about a little over 60, probably closer to the high 60s on my board. I really wanted to emphasize a couple different positions here. When you look at the favorites and stuff, I don't really have too many things outside of where I want to really hit on the line. The defensive side, I really want to focus on trying to get some good pieces there. On the first and second level, so defensive ends and linebackers, I'm emphasizing that. As you can see, I tried to ensure like some scouts to grab some tackles and stuff, and some look like there's potential for them to fall, but there is a big one here that, in my opinion, in the second round, if I can get this guy, you're talking about a potential steal here, as he looks like he's a little bit better. He's 6'5", 323 pounds out of UCLA. DeMar Shaw's got the good awareness there, and again, this is about growing a player. You don't necessarily want to have him used now, but you know, maybe you can shift him over to right tackle in the following year. I did look at a tight end, and Cody Price, 6'6", 245, looks like the real deal. He's got all the physicals to be nasty. He looks to be the best tight end in the draft, and with Okonkwo here, right, he's got a little bit of years on the contract. We got Wiley, and we got Ray, but they're not the end-all be-all. So if you grab a legit tight end, why the heck not, and secure that there. It looks like Ty Taylor is a first-round pick, but he's not necessarily the top 5 pick from an overall standpoint. So that helps also work through it with us. Some of these players I still have on my list, because although they look like from an overall standpoint they're going to be around the 3rd or 4th round, if you can grab this guy in the 3rd round, I say why the heck not? Talking about a guy who's 6'4", 334. This guy could play guard if we wanted to swing him in there, or he can be a very good tackle. I think this guy's got an attribute to kind of work out. So I think we have some possibilities here. I mixed it up too, because my goal wasn't just to have a bunch of players in the rounds. I want to see if I can snag up some steals when it comes to the later rounds. And I think with like the UDFAs that we have, there were some pretty good players that, in my opinion, could be a big steal. And the one position that I think could be that is the defensive tackle position. When I look at some of these guys here, Antoine Holiday looks to be one that is freaking crazy. This guy put up 41 reps on the bench press, and he wasn't even a top guy. There's a number 1 player that's even beyond him. So Antoine Holiday looks to be a beast that maybe we can draft him as our 1st round pick, and he just learns behind Jonathan Allen and freaking Kenny Clark. Why the hell not? Why could that be? Why would that be such a bad thing there? But you know, the other guy that I was looking at was in the 1st round here, and it was Gary Corcoran. I don't know why he wasn't on the list here, but why I like Gary Corcoran is he's 6'3", 299. He had a pretty good press, but he's also pretty fast. So he might be like a Braden Fisk type of athlete, but I thought he was kind of clean there. When you look at the bench press, though, as you can see, the big dog here is a guy that's in day 3, and that is Kevin Bradley. He's got all the attributes to do what he needs to do. Looks disciplined, block shed's key, but look at this, 42 reps. He's going to soak up the interior line there at 6'4", 330 pounds out of San Diego State, my alma mater. I didn't even realize that. But when I see someone like Kevin Bradley, I'm like, dude, why the heck not? Why not have a player like him learning behind Kenny Clark and freaking Jonathan Allen? Why not have him be that dog? So I'm hoping that could work out for us there. I really tried to find some players that I thought were just kind of different, right? Like, you got a 6'6", 309 pound defensive tackle out of Wisconsin and DeJuan Claiborne. 36 reps, decent speed, but it's that big weight that I'm like, man, if I had him in the 7th round, why would I be upset with that? You know, you want to continue, you want to have a couple of extra throws there or shots when it comes to the later rounds, because maybe you hit on somebody that can be quite surprising. And I think with some of these projected UDFAs guys, drafting them in the late rounds could be quite exciting here. And as you can see, right, I really tried to emphasize that and snag up some guys to give me some options. We got some players here that I think could be pretty good. You're looking at a guy like Demario Gooden. This guy had a 34, almost 35-inch vert with a 4.43 40. Everything here does not scream like this guy is insane, but with a 4.36 that he ran in college pro day versus his 4.43 at the combine, all I could say is, like, maybe we could throw this guy into maybe a return specialist or something like that. That could probably shift his possibilities there. And, you know, Wembley can kind of play the slot a little bit more. So I'm just trying to continue to find players that, in my opinion, could really do some work. You know, you got another guy in Nate Norris. Again, is another guy that doesn't have a crate, but he ran the fastest freaking 40 in this year's draft. 4.27 at college pro day, 4.32 at the combine. You can't teach speed, man. And when I see something like this, I'm like, this gives me a chance to maybe have a guy that could really, you know, shock the world, and we can use him. Cavante Turpin is a player that comes to mind for me, where he was very agile, very fast, but he wasn't leveraged as often with the Cowboys. And you're like, why wouldn't you do that? So I'm hoping things can work out. My number one pick in my mind here heading into this draft is Reggie Lowry. He's a guy that's very fast, good on the bench press, like, so he's strong, very agile. You can see that in 3-cone and a 20-yard shuttle. But he's got that awareness and finesse, so it's a different type of look, and it helps us on the line. Like, I'm always trying to figure out ways to kind of grow that line, and Reggie Lowry, to me, is probably my top pick in this upcoming draft. He feels like he can actually do it. Now, if these other guys fall, like I'm actually gonna remove him. Yeah, Corcoran, but if Taylor falls, I think I would go for him. I'm looking at guys like Dylan Henley as well. There's a corner that I thought was pretty slick in Denzel Slay, but I don't really have to force it. The way I look at it is like, why just take my time? JJ Benedict, 6'8", 324. This guy looks like a freak. A awareness, A impact block, B pass block. He's going to be an anchor on that right side, and he'll learn behind McGarry. I don't know how much of a standpoint he's going to be that great, but that's kind of a gamble there. So I got a good mix, you know, different options for 1 to 2, different options on 2 to 3, 3 to 4, a day 3 looks, and then UDFA. So I definitely tried to scan to find some pretty good players, and that's the hope today, that we really make it work there. The top ranked guys here, I don't necessarily know what the ranking means when it comes to stats. I don't know if that necessarily means, like, does that mean like they're the top player in the rank? No, because see, as you can see, it's like Jeffers there. So maybe that's in my favorites. He's the top rank. Maybe that's what it is. Let me see. No, they got Bynes there. Maybe he's the top rank in the halfback role. So it's a little weird. I don't know what the heck that ranking means, but I'm looking forward to this draft. We're going to jump into it, and let's see if we can snag up some good players. So let's get to the NFL draft. So the pick is up here for the New England Patriots. They're the first pick in the draft, followed by the Buccaneers, Lions, Falcons, and Seahawks. So we're going to kind of move forward here, and the goal is we will, you know, look at the first 5 picks, see what it says, and then we will skip to us. So the New England Patriots are up. They're going to take a quarterback, and they're going after Geno Paxton. Kind of crazy. I thought May was enough, but I guess not. Joe Jeffers, left tackle, to the Buccaneers. The Lions take quarterback Cody Burnham. Falcons do have Kenny Pickett there as a quarterback, and they're going to take right end Dylan Henley, which it looks like the stats are screaming like these guys have some really good attributes. The Seahawks are up, and they're going to take Miles Alford. So we're going to go ahead and skip, get us to our user pick, see what happens here. There's some players that were on our list that are moving around. Lowry was one of my picks. He got drafted by the Bears super early there. And here we are, right? We got 2 picks. I totally forgot. We have 2 picks in the first round. And I'm excited for this. So before we get into that, let's double check our picks, right? I should have checked that before we head into it, but we have 2 first-round picks because we traded back to get Brandon Hawley. We have a 2nd round, a 3rd round from Atlanta. We have a 4th round from Vegas and a 4th round for ourselves, a 5th round from Arizona, a 6th, and we have 3 7s. So we got to pick in at least any draft here, any round. So with pick 11, we have an opportunity here, and I'm looking forward to this one. So I was thinking about a defensive tackle in the later rounds, which I will probably still look at. But you look at this guy here, he's projected to be a top 5 pick. He's not the strongest guy, but look at his attributes. Elite across the board. Change of direction, speed, agility, acceleration. This guy right here at 6'2", 293 could be a game changer for the Tennessee Titans. He's a top 5 pick, and he's falling in the draft. So I was thinking about that because we could choose to move and maybe grab somebody else on this list later. The issue is I don't know if somebody like Jones is going to fall to us. Mac Jones here, 6'6". He was a guy I didn't expect because I thought we were going to be a late pick. Mac Jones could be a very good player for us to kind of grow and learn. And maybe we shift him to right tackle at 22 years old too. Like, it just screams a great possibility there. But do you ignore other players like Rashawn Arnold? He looks like he's going to be a flop. Free safety was another guy I was looking at, and it looks like he's like more later round or whatever. But the right tackle position is screaming for us. We could take this. We could really take advantage of this. And I think what I'd like to do is I'm choosing between the tackles here, because if you can have an opportunity to grab a tackle, I say why the heck not. Tyree Fitzsimmons. He doesn't have like all the attributes that scream incredible, but he is high on the board, and with A across the board, like that seems very enticing. And then you look at Mac Jones, who has a D pass block, and you're like, oh my gosh, but this guy's a freak. And here's the thing, we don't have to use him right now. So if we were to draft him, I wouldn't be that upset. Like I said, he wasn't on my list because I forgot that we were even going to have this opportunity. And this is where I think we need to take that chance here. As much as I would like to go after another guy like a quarterback or Crocker here, Crocker just looks like he might be a bust, folks. When you look at where his combine stats and everything are at, he just does not look like he is going to be that legit. And we don't necessarily need to draft a defensive tackle right now. It is best bet player available, so I need to go after something here, and they're both 22 years old. But yeah, this guy's screaming better. So we're gonna go after Mac Jones here. I didn't expect to get a tackle this early. I say, why the heck not? Grab him and let's see what we get here. So Mac Jones, A on the scouting report. He's B-, 58 in true value. We drafted him at 11. High IQ blocker, excels in the run game, former power forward. So I'm happy with it. 90 strength, 84 acceleration. I think this is a good play for us. At pick 11, I can't be upset. Like I said, I didn't even think that he was going to be on my board. So kind of interesting there. We grab a tackle. We're up again here. Corcoran looks like he got drafted by the Packers there. Carter, Benedict. So there's some pretty interesting guys here. And there's a player that I'm really looking at right now because some of the guys have fallen off the board. And the player that I am there's 2 players I'm interested in. I was looking at the tight end, who is considered probably the best tight end in the draft. He screams incredible. He's pretty much the top player off the board. Very versatile tight end. He's gonna be able to vertical tight end. He's gonna go all over the place and really knock it out of the park. Now, there's some wide receivers that I thought were pretty interesting here, and a free safety that's within this range that could really help us out. And Tyrone Myers, I thought, was very clean. This guy is 6'2", 220. Didn't have the craziest 40, but he's strong as heck. He's a different type of wide receiver for us. And I'm like, man, we could take that and roll with it there. There's an end that was interesting on our end. There was a running back that looked kind of clean. 6 foot 213. This guy is a 4.3 freaking 40-yard dash. You can't teach speed, and this guy could be a really clean player there. I just don't think we really have to go through that. I would rather take a weapon that we can use now versus trying to snag a running back that's going to be deep in the depth there. There's a strong safety that's projected to be more of a round one guy, and I think we can probably look to grab him or another piece down the road. So the guy that I was really interested in bringing in was Cody Price here, 6'6", 245. This guy looks like a crazy vertical threat, and I think with him out there, we can really mix it up, man, and this is going to be pretty fun. Welcome to the team, Cody Price. Ooh, it looks like Goodell's out there. This might have been a very good pick for us. The presentation is out there. I think Cody Price could be that dog, man. I think, I don't know, the tight end group is definitely worked out. Conco has been really clean, but I think Price can be a very good player for the Titans, and I'm really happy about it. So B-, 33 in true value. We drafted him at 26, so pretty much around the area. Excellent speed for a tight end. Soft hand, played college basketball, so we got 2 players who played college basketball. Look at that, 85 speed, 90 acceleration, 85 change of direction with the hidden dev. You can't be upset about that, man. You got to be happy with those decisions so far. So we're going to advance it now to the next round here. And what the heck? Oh, okay. So now we are pick number 58 here in the second round. A lot of players are off the board now. And as you can see here, the closest person is a running back on our board, along with Anthony Manning, who is a corner. So kind of crazy that all these guys fell off, but look at this. You got a strong safety that's projected round 1. You got another strong safety that's projected round 1. These guys were not on our board, and I didn't expect them to fall. So knowing that, we have our shot at taking like another strong safety here to help us out in George Carmichael, who had a ridiculous vert as well. He looks like he's the best strong safety out there. 6'2", 225 as well. You don't necessarily need a strong safety, but that is a very good opportunity for us. I think you got to take, like, it's BPA. You grow that. Sidney Brown's not going to be here forever. You'll have Antonio Johnson there kind of helping this guy out, and I think this is a good move for us. So we snag him up. Let's see what Goodell shows us here. Maybe it was a good play for us having this pick right here, and it looks like the war room here for Tennessee is pretty happy. Getting a free strong safety, like I said, man, it's gonna be a battle. Maybe we'll see Antonio Johnson out there doing his thing. Needs more time in the field room. Does he have NFL speed? Shows knack for the ball on the ground. And here's the thing, he's Norm Dev, but look at all the stats. And again, he doesn't have to play up front. We got some good guys in front of him, and the goal is just keep drafting good players. Just keep drafting dogs. So we got a pick early here because we had a player swap, a pick swap when we traded Kenny Pickett to the Falcons. So we have a pick right now, and this is again where I want to see, like, what could we do? Do we snag another free safety here? Knowing that we can, As much as I'd like to do that, I want to see what else is out there. And looks like there's a middle linebacker here in Overeem. Let's go to favorites here. Let's see what's out there. So you got the corner here that I was looking at. You have the middle linebacker in Frank Burton. So we only have Micah McFadden, and we got some other low-end middle linebackers. But Frank Burton, 6'3", 244 out of Clemson, seemed like a dog. Good speed on him. He seemed to fit with what we want. And in the third round, I say, why the heck not? You take this guy, you let him grow. He's only 21 years old, so he's going to be behind McFadden. I think this is going to help us out in the middle linebacker position there, and it fulfills a need. So welcome to the team of Frank Burton. B+ ranked right there, 73. We drafted him at 68. Great speed to cover, track down tackle, sure tackle, rangy linebacker who will track down the ball carrier. And he's got 90 speed, 90 acceleration. We got a dog, man. Woo, I love it. I love it, dude. Let's keep it rolling here as the Titans continue to keep killing it here. In my opinion, in the draft, we're actually we're doing the right thing so far. We got another early pick, and then we got a later pick in this round here at pick number 4. So I'm always trying to find players, always trying to find dogs. And as you can see here, right, when you look at the favorites, there is not too many left. We got one more projected 3rd round, 4th round guy, but after that, it's pretty much all day 3 guys. So we could move back a little bit, kind of see what we got there. When you look at our needs, right, wide receiver, tackle, right end, left end, I think we got some possibilities there. There's some looks here that we can grab. So we grabbed a middle linebacker that I thought was a good feed there. We could grab a end here in Harden. We could grab Alexander Blaylock, a wide receiver who, to me, is not the greatest of players when it comes to his physical stuff. But, do you snag Blaylock now with that 4.27 speed, or do you wait on it? And this is the tough part. I don't know if you should. When we go to the all positions here, we got to see what's out there, and there's still a couple 2-3 round guys, but as you can see, it's showing, man, that they are not ready to be the dogs. They're not ready. They were not on our board for a reason. So closest person that's on the board against the overall look here, it's either the tight end in Ferguson, who I had, which probably going to take him off my board because I just don't. Oh shoot, I almost screwed that up. Because I don't see myself needing another tight end. And then the closest one is Mike Hayden. So he's a center. He's going to be behind Cushenberry. I thought he had good stats across the board. Elite agility, change of direction. Decent strength. Not the craziest. But the hope is that he can kind of work through in the O-line and kind of be okay in that space there. So I was looking at Mike Hayden. But I'm wondering now, right? Do we just... Maybe we trade back. Maybe we try to look to see if maybe we can move into the future picks. So looks like it's a 2028 pick for us, and it looks like the Raiders are saying, hey man, we'll give you a 3rd round next year. Jaguars are saying, hey man, we'll give you a 4th this year and a 7th 2 years. The Giants are saying, hey, move back, we'll give you ours. And then this one is the intriguing one. Falcons are going to give us a future 4th, 6th, and 7th. I think that's the play right there. You take all the value out of that. We're already trade partners with them as we traded Kenny Pickett to them. But I think that's the move right there that helps us out. So we'll go ahead and let's just see, what did they get? Who did they get? They went middle linebacker Cameron Binns. So wasn't a guy we were looking at, but now we got one more pick here in the 4th round. So let's see what's out there. Maybe some decisions got made in that space. Don't really see much. There's a strong safety out there that kind of fit it. Now I want to start looking at corner or left end or defensive end. This guy looked kind of clean right here. He's not the fastest, but it's more of a finesse look. Calvin Harden, he's 6'1", 265 out of Purdue. He's the highest person on the board outside of Ferguson there. That could be it. But Tyler Calhoun, actually Tyler Calhoun's the next one. 6'4", 255, B block shed. He's one of the fastest out there. I think from a skills standpoint, he had the B block shed. And Tyler Calhoun is pretty much like a Matt Lewis, but just lower on the board there. I think this could help us out. The guy's got all the utility there. Middle linebacker is the need, which we already fulfilled. But with Calhoun, I think, again, it's about special teams, getting that in order, making sure we're good in that space, because I can't have like Matt Lewis playing special teams right now. I need to have some other guys taking that role there. And it looks like, folks, the coach is really excited about it. We might have gotten another hit here. The Titans are bringing in some dogs. Oh, nope, never mind. 297 in true value. Power move needs better technique, so it says that he kind of didn't do so. I don't know, man. I need a special teams guy, and I'm good with that. Wow, it made it look like it was such a great pick, but I guess not. We're gonna move into the 5th round now. We have a pick here at 137. So unfortunate there that was not the. I guess that wasn't the end all be all on that pick. We got another guy here in Dan Jackson that looked pretty good. We got a corner here in Jarek Douglas, 6'2", 200. You don't necessarily need a corner, but 4'2", again, I can't teach speed. And yeah, 5th rounder, I say why the heck not? You take him. He's a ball hawk too. 140 in true talent. We draft him at 137. He loses receivers in man coverage. We can have him play slot. Slow to react to develop plays. So it's going to take him a little bit. Again, this is a guy that could help us out in depth, play some special teams, and roll through it. So happy that we made that move there. Doesn't look like we have a pick again till the late 6th round. So we got 3 7th round picks too. So that's what I'm looking forward to there. Got some players on the board here, and this is where we can get another middle linebacker if we want. Those are the 2 guys right now that seem to be on the board. Looks like it is probably going to be something like that. I'm wondering though, if we look at the favorites. Wow, did all the defensive tackles got taken? Whoa, is that real? All the DTs that I wanted are not on the board anymore. Wow. Wow, someone really wanted them, I guess. Okay, well, much as I thought the DT was going to be there, I guess not. Did not expect that. Let's go back here. See from a depth standpoint, right? What could we grab? You still got other guys that are not on the board that we could grab here, but let's look at Matthew Still, 6'3", 225 pass coverage. He's got good speed. He's a good athlete there. Jumping, not so great. Let's look at the other cat here that was right next to him on the board. In Kirk Wall, 6'2", 227 out of Wyoming. Again, another good. This actually is a very good athlete. I'll take this guy. I think that's a good play for us. D, 299. We drafted him at 186. He's got hidden depth. Man, what are we thinking, dude? I'm excited. Hidden dev for Kirk Wall. He's gonna be behind McFadden. He's gonna be behind our other middle linebacker that we drafted. But that's good to kind of retool that group there, and hopefully make it work right here. So we have a couple picks here in the 7th round. I was hoping my DTs would have fell there. It's a bit unfortunate, but now we'll just look at the favorites, see what we got. So we got some wide receivers here. This is where I would like to take a chance on some of these guys. It's a 7th round pick. Nothing too crazy there. And when you look at the combine, you got a 4.3 guy here that hasn't been drafted yet. A 36-inch vert. I mean, this screams like this guy could do some work here. I am not too upset about that. I think you snag the speed, see if it finds its way, and you hope it works out. So Nate Norris is now a Titan. C+, 209 in true value, drafted him at 196. This guy has issues catching. It is what it is, but maybe we could throw him in the punt return space. Maybe that ends up being something for Nate Norris. So welcome to the team there. We got a pick coming up after a handful, and this is where I would probably like to look at another guy here where I'd like to take a chance of building this guy out. And the player I was looking at was Lecarius Wilkins, 6'7", 321. He's 24 years old, a little older, but the guy's got the good reps there. He's got to take a little bit to build. So that's kind of, that was the guy I was looking at there. You also got another guy in Parker Logan, A impact block. He's got, yeah, those are some really, man, these big guys are really not that great, huh? Let's look at the left outside linebacker, Brandon White, 222 years old, out of Memphis. This is another athlete. I'll take this. Brandon White. So we snag up some defense. All right, so Goodell's out there again. Does that mean we found something, or what does that mean here? Why are you cheering us on right now? What do we get for you, huh? What do we get for you? So he's pumped about it. We drafted him in 7th round. C+, 168 in true value. We drafted him at 200. It says average recognition leads to inconsistent play. Shows knack for the ball carrier. Great speed to cover and track down tackles. 86 speed, 88 acceleration. Again, this is about special teams. We want guys that are gonna be out there to hopefully make it work for you. And again, it's just like we're drafting, man. Just gonna keep drafting. Hopefully, some good guys and players that will want to be here. Looks like Kendrick Patrick got drafted there. But let's make our pick. This is where, looks like you got some guys here that have continued to fall. That's quite unfortunate. I was thinking about a halfback, but it doesn't look like the halfbacks even made it to us. And that's quite unfortunate. But let's look at the combine. Maybe someone who has legit greatness. 4.39 is the wide receiver in Josh Dunn. He's a day 3 guy. Benched a 7. That is sad. You got another guy here in Stephen Landry. 6'7", 334. He actually was strong as heck. Decent speed as well. And you take a chance on him. You put him on the practice squad and you see what happens there. 276 in true value. We drafted him at 218. 90 strength. I hope that works out. It's a late round pick. It's kind of a dart throw. All of them are pretty much dart throws after the first round, in my opinion. But happy with what we got. Right, we got 74 players on the roster. It looks like some additional retirements have happened here at the draft. That was Quan Alexander has decided to call it a career there. So good luck to that. Like I said, I think we had some good pickups here, and let's talk about it right now. So our first pick in the draft was Mac Jones, normal dev, unfortunate. But I think what my goal here is with Mac Jones is to move this guy over to right tackle and allow him to develop there behind Caleb McGarry. I think he's going to do what he needs to do in that space, and he'll get some reps on both sides, but I think that's the move right there. Cody Price is a 74 overall tight end who's got all the attributes to be the dog. 79 catching. I think there's even a chance where I'm going to try to mix him up and put him in the slot. just get him out there, because I think him and Okonkwo could be a very dynamic group. We'll get him a little rose gold item right there. So excited for this tight end here. We're going to watch the preseason, right? Kind of see what that looks like there. George Carmichael was a 75 overall strong safety, who I think is going to be a freak out there. He's going to be behind some guys, and I'm okay with that. I don't need him to start right now. We can just kind of let him kind of do his thing, but there's a chance that Carmichael is going to really show up and show out. We ended up snagging up a middle linebacker here in Frank Burton, normal dev, but this guy's going to start probably pretty quickly here. We'll see how he works out. He's got some stamina issues, so we'll see a mix of different players there, but I think Frank Burton can be a really good player on the back end there for us. We snagged up another guy here, 64 overall, in Tyler Calhoun. This is more of a special teams play here. Got some injury concerns, but I think with Calhoun, we could see him kind of ball out in the preseason. We snagged up Jarek Douglas here, 68 overall, 93 speed, 90 acceleration. This is a guy that he's going to play in the back end of the depth chart, move his way up, and maybe he plays a little bit more this season. We ended up finding a hidden dev here, 64 overall, Kirk Wall. So my goal is to have him kind of play more as a middle linebacker 3 or 4 to play in the special teams. Just let him get some reps out there. And out of Wyoming, I think hopefully he'll kind of move his way up and be ready to start one day. We snagged up Nate Norris here. He's a little bit of a smaller guy to Syracuse, 5'10", 184. But with that speed and stuff, I think that was a nice move there. He's got 74 kick returns, so this is a little bit of a tough one here where Nate Norris is probably going to be on the depth chart. Maybe he plays a little bit, or maybe he just goes to since he's a 7th round pick, he just goes to the freaking practice squad. Brandon White, left outside linebacker. This is a guy I want to play in the special teams immediately and play like the 3rd linebacker on the depth chart on either side. And then we snagged up the left tackle here in Stephen Landry out of LSU, 6'7", freaking, what was that, 334. Big dude, good strength. He's just going to have to grow behind our left tackle right now, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's J.C. Latham is the tackle. So we'll let him grow there, and we'll let him work it. Now, as far as across the league, let's go first and check out how did our division do. Marcus Golden is the first pick for the Colts, and he's a hidden dev. Very good corner out of Houston, so that's a good move for them. So Marcus Golden is Indianapolis. They snagged up another cat here in Derek McAllister, quarterback. So maybe Anthony Richardson's out, but that's a very good player to have behind him just in case stuff hits the fan there. They grabbed another guy here in Malik for another hidden dev. So the Colts hit on some players, man. My goodness, they hit on some players. Nasir Ridley is another guy right here that did okay. So the Colts, actually, their top 3 picks were pretty nasty. Who else is in this division here, right? It's Texans, Titans, Jaguars. So let's look what the Jaguars did. They snagged up that was one of the guys. He was a normal dev, Rashawn Arnold. So that's not a bad linebacker there. They snagged up a free safety in Bill Landry, normal dev there. So they didn't hit something on that one. Unfortunate for that. And they got so I just saw that a hidden dev here, Shun Bushrod. He's got like a little burst action there. That's going to help them out down the road. You're looking at 68 overall wide receiver, but 92 speed, 90. That isn't bad. But look at this corner, 5th round, hidden dev, 71 overall. They found the guy, and you can't be upset about that. What a play right there for the Jaguars. And then the last team we'll check out are the Texans. How did they do, right? They snagged up DT and Antoine Holiday. Dude is a freaking He is a space eater, dude. He is taking up so much room there on that line. That's going to help them out. They grabbed a left tackle in DeMar Shaw with the retirement of Laremy Tunsil. They got this guy from UCLA who's got the hidden devs, so wish them the best of luck there. Now I'm wondering, should I have grabbed Shaw? Oh, he was drafted in the 2nd round too. Unreal. We could have grabbed that guy. And then they grabbed a left guard and Kerry Hall, so that's very good for them. They're building up that line. They're getting into the right spot. And they found some dogs, so another hidden dev. Oh no, that's the guy we're talking about. So they found some guys right there that I think are pretty solid across the board. As far as the league is concerned, the number 1 overall pick was Gene Paxton with hidden dev out of Notre Dame. Deep throwing isn't that crazy, but maybe Drake May is going to do his thing. Who knows? The best overall player in the draft was Cody Burnham, and he went to the Detroit Lions. Normal dev, but he's got that overall that really helps him out. 97 throw. Oh, he's got a great base. He's got a really, really good baseline. And then there it is right there. Joe Jeffers, 6'6", 317, 75 overall. I don't know if, was he drafted? He was drafted number 2. Okay, so there was no chance that no, he wasn't the best one. Who was it? It was a corner. Dalvin Claxton, 79 overall out of Oklahoma. What a play right there. So Buccaneers, they went swinging this year, man. Got some good players there. He was drafted in the 2nd round. I wasn't looking at a corner. I screwed that up. Carlos Williams, I could have snagged him as a corner. I didn't even think about it. He ended up being a very good player. I just didn't think that would have made sense for us to draft a corner that early. Unfortunate. Ty Taylor. He was picked. No, yeah, we weren't going to get him. Trying to think of where. So we were pick. Yeah, we're pick 11. Tyree Fitzsimmons. What was him? Hidden dev. Unreal. Strength's not that great, but oh, that's hilarious. So we would have got him, but oh, wow, that's insane. So overall, I'm pretty excited for the next season, folks. I think we got some really good players. I'm hoping we can really do it. We're going to leave the trades on for the remainder of the year there and just kind of roll with it. I think we got some good guys. I think we got some good pieces. Now it's about just growing this squad. So in the preseason, we'll do that offline. Maybe I'll show some highlights. I'm just not quite sure, but I'm looking forward to seeing what the Titans can do now. Can they repeat, right? They fought hard and they ended up taking out the Texans from making it to the playoffs. That was a big deal. Our division is strong, but I think we're one of the tops on that. So we'll push forward there, but that'll do it for us. If you like what you saw, please drop a like, leave a comment, tell me what you think. And most importantly, subscribe to keep up with the series. I appreciate everyone that stopped by today. Y'all have yourself a good one. And for now, tighten up.